Today we're diving into a topic that I bet hits close to home for many of you, and that's the feeling of overwhelm. Albert Einstein once said, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. But what happens when it feels like your bicycle has turned into an unmanageable mountain of tasks and responsibilities? Let's unpack this together. You've likely heard of overwhelm before, but what does it really mean? How does it impact us negatively, or perhaps even positively? And most importantly, what can we do to overcome it? First, let's define overwhelm. Overwhelm occurs when the demands of your work, relationships, or life in general exceed your perceived ability to handle them. It's that feeling of being buried under a mountain of tasks, responsibilities, or emotional challenges, seemingly without a way out. So, how does overwhelm negatively impact us? Well, the effects can be profound and multifaceted. 1. Emotional drain. When you're overwhelmed, it's as if your emotional battery is constantly being drained without any opportunity for recharging. This emotional fatigue affects your capacity to experience joy, excitement, or even simple contentment. It's not just about feeling tired, it's about experiencing a form of exhaustion that sleep alone can't fix. This emotional drain can often lead you to disengage from activities you once enjoyed and even distance yourself from loved ones, trapping you in a cycle of increasing isolation and unhappiness. Essentially, it robs you of the emotional resources you need to fully participate in your own life. 2. Reduced productivity. The sense of overwhelm often comes with an illusion of insurmountable challenges, which leads to a kind of paralysis. Tasks that you could easily tackle before now seem like mountains you can't possibly climb. As a result, productivity takes a nosedive. And what's more, this isn't just about not completing tasks on your to-do list. It's also about the quality of your work deteriorating. Because your focus is scattered and your emotional resources are depleted, the work you do manage to complete is often not up to your usual standards. This further adds to the cycle of overwhelm, as reduced productivity leads to increasing backlogs and ever more stress. Mental health. The effects of overwhelm are not just confined to your immediate emotional or productive states. They can also have long-term repercussions on your mental health. The ongoing stress and anxiety can exacerbate existing mental health issues or even trigger new ones. Overwhelm serves as a catalyst that can intensify feelings of stress, anxiety, and depression, trapping you in a vicious cycle that feels increasingly hard to break. It's like adding fuel to an already raging fire, making it all more difficult to restore a sense of balance and mental well-being. And 4. Physical health. We often underestimate how strongly our emotional and mental states can affect our physical well-being. Chronic stress and anxiety, common companions to overwhelm, can lead to a multitude of physical health issues. Sleep patterns are frequently the first to be affected, which in turn impacts your body's ability to heal and recharge. The immune system can also suffer, making you more susceptible to illness. In the worst case scenario, prolonged periods of overwhelm and the resultant stress can contribute to more severe health issues such as hypertension or cardiovascular problems, which have long-term implications for your quality of life. Overwhelm doesn't just stop at making you feel emotionally exhausted or less productive. It has a domino effect that can impact every aspect of your life. Therefore, it's essential to address it head-on, both for your immediate well-being and your long-term health. Like Winston Churchill said, when you're going through hell, keep going. It's a pertinent quote because overwhelm feels like an emotional and psychological hell, but we can move past it. But is there a silver lining? Can overwhelm be positive? In some cases, yes. It can serve as a wake-up call, a signal that you need to reassess your priorities or ask for help. Overwhelm can sometimes push you out of your comfort zone, forcing you to develop skills and coping mechanisms you didn't know you had. But these positives are only often realised when we confront the overwhelm, rather than letting it consume us. Confucius said, "It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop." This applies even when overwhelm serves as a temporary roadblock. It can make us pause and reassess, which can actually be beneficial. Just consider Arianna Huffington, the founder of the Huffington Post. In 2007, she collapsed from exhaustion and work-related stress, breaking her cheekbone in the fall. This was her wake-up call. Until that point, she'd been operating under the popular but misguided belief that burning out was simply the price one had to pay for success. Her experience with overwhelm didn't immobilize her. It catalysed her to reevaluate her priorities and take active steps to find a healthier and more sustainable pace for her life. Arianna's overwhelm, while negatively impactful in the immediate sense, became a turning point in her life. So let's get into how we can overcome the feeling of overwhelm. First up, let's talk about prioritising. Take a piece of paper and jot down everything on your mind, be it work-related, family commitments, or personal projects. Use a system like the Eisenhower box to sort these tasks into categories: urgent and important, important but not urgent, and so on. For instance, if you have a work deadline and a family event coming up, and although the family event is important, focus on the work task first because it's both urgent and important. This will help you see where your attention is most needed. Moving on, break down your tasks. Large projects can add to feelings of overwhelm, so break them into smaller parts. For example, if you're writing a report, separate it into tasks like research, writing the introduction, and drafting the main body. Tackling smaller tasks makes the overall project seem less daunting. Next, don't hesitate to ask for help. Share or delegate responsibilities whenever possible. If you're planning a family event, for example, don't take it all upon yourself. Get a sibling, a cousin, or a friend to handle the invitations and another to manage the food. Also, don't underestimate the power of mindfulness and grounding techniques. When overwhelm hits, do a quick 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 exercise. Identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This simple practice can bring you back to the present moment, helping to reduce the sense of overwhelm. Lastly, set boundaries. It's essential to know when to say no, particularly in a work setting. If your workload is causing overwhelm, schedule a meeting with your manager to discuss what you can realistically handle. Setting boundaries isn't a sign of weakness, it's an essential part of maintaining your well-being. As we wrap up our discussion on the daunting topic of overwhelm, let's circle back to Einstein's wisdom. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Just like riding a bicycle, the key to overcoming overwhelm is to keep moving, but in a more mindful, prioritised way. It's not about speeding through tasks in a frenzy, but about intentional, balanced movement that aligns with your goals and well-being. The strategies we've discussed today, prioritising tasks, breaking them down, seeking help, practicing mindfulness, and setting boundaries, these are your ways to keep moving, to regain that balance in your life. So if you've been through the ringer of overwhelm or are currently feeling its weight, remember, you have the power to overcome it. Your well-being depends on it. Now before you go, if you found this discussion helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with anyone you think would find it of value, and don't forget to subscribe for more content designed to help you lead a balanced, fulfilling life. Also, I'd love for you to share your own experiences or strategies for dealing with overwhelm in the comment section. Until next time, keep moving forward. I'm Dr. Rakish Rana, the Clear Coach.